Hey, I'm Guy Powell, and welcome to the next episode of the Backstory on Marketing and AI. If you haven't already done so, please visit prorelevant.com and sign up for all of these episodes and podcasts. As you know, I am the author of the newly released book, The Post-COVID Marketing Machine: Prepare Your Team to Win. And you can find out more information on this at marketingmachine.prorelevant.com. And stay tuned as well. I have a new book coming up, which will be on this wonderful topic. I won't give away all the secrets, but marketing and AI is certainly going to be a big piece of that. In any case, today we're speaking with Paris Childress, and we're going to be talking about, of course, the marketing and AI. But for the CMOs, the big question on their minds is how will AI impact their activities through their marketing department and even throughout their agencies and their relationships. So let's see if we can help you out today. Today, we're going to share some insights on this, what I call the unstoppable rise of AI, and then we'll discover how to position your business for success in this global marketplace and the democratization of AI as it now improves everyone's creative. So, as I mentioned, I'm interviewing Paris Childress of Hop Online. He is an ex-Googler. He's a podcast host. He's a CEO of Hop Online, and he's a global performance marketing agency for high-growth companies. Some of his clients include Penn State University, Naspers, Radius, Rapid7, CodeSpark Academy, Output.com, and FT Professional. His agency team crafts strategies that give brands a clear advantage in the ever-evolving digital space by helping them leverage AI to elevate their brand's presence and impact. By leading the International AI Council, Paris keeps up with the latest cutting-edge AI technologies and helps his team run regular testing across different projects. As an experienced peaker, Paris has shared his insights at high-profile events like the Hero Conference in London, Google's Performance Marketing Conference, and E-commerce Conf. He has recorded more than 100 podcast episodes discussing the latest in the marketing world. Currently, Paris is working on developing a machine learning-based solution for companies that want to improve their pre-sales processes. Paris, welcome. So good to have you today.
Thank you, Guy. Thanks for that wonderful introduction.
Oh,
Great to
you're
be
quite
here.
welcome. Yeah, you definitely have a great background, and certainly performance marketing is one area where AI can make a real difference. But before we get into that, so tell us your background and how you got involved in AI and marketing, and then to where you are today.
Sure. Well, my marketing journey started probably almost 20 years ago, and it started with the dawn of search marketing, with the launch of Google AdWords and the beginning of what was then and now still called SEO, search engine optimization. And this was something that attracted me instantly because it combined a lot of I guess the creative part of me that loved to write and like to try to engage people with words, and also the analytical part where I could analyze data and I could optimize against clear, concrete data. And that really that love affair with search marketing has taken me all the way through from 2005 roughly to today. And we're now 15 years into the agency, Hop Online. And the AI, of course, has only emerged on the scene. It's going to be 2 years, I think, since the Chat GPT was released into the wild. It was November 2021. And that caught everyone's attention. And I think particularly though in the last year is when us marketers have really started to apply it in some concrete use cases. And it is by far the most exciting transformation that we've seen in marketing since I think really the dawn of the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there are a handful of big milestones, and I think you're right. I think the AI milestone or the AI tentpole, whatever you want to call it, is definitely one of the biggest, if not the biggest. So definitely. So tell us a little bit about Hop Online. What's your company all about?
We're a digital marketing agency. We focus mostly on search marketing, paid search, SEO, content marketing, and also paid social. We've got a team of about 30 people. Most of us are based in Bulgaria. We've got a few that are outside in places like Turkey and Serbia. And we service mostly international clients, fast growth tech companies, education service providers, and also cybersecurity companies, predominantly based in the US and in Europe.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, and it's funny with one of the other things that kind of goes along with AI or tools like this with Zoom and being able to have conversations across the world and be really face to face and nevertheless be able to do a sales call and follow up and tracking of all your projects and things like that. It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. So all right, so for AI and marketing, so let's talk about marketing productivity in the age of AI. What's happened? How has marketing productivity improved with AI?
It's improved dramatically, and I still think there's a lot more to come, which is ahead of us. But what I've seen already right now is things like getting to that first draft blog post or doing some analysis on a set of keywords, or even producing on a more strategic level, producing a very detailed matrix of an ideal customer profile or persona. These are things that used to take us several hours, if not days. Now it takes a matter of minutes. So I think the biggest change is to go from 0 to 1 right now. I still believe that the human marketing experts are absolutely necessary to go from that initial starting point and take it further with their know-how. But to go from absolutely nothing, a blank screen or a blank page, to get something substantial that you can start chewing on, working on, iterating, that's been the real accelerant.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm an author as well as a marketer. And I will admit, sometimes you do get writer's block and you're thinking, well, how do I write this? Or what is the story here? Or how do I do this? And once now you're kind of like have to change your mind instead of focusing on the output. It's kind of focusing on the objective. So I want to write a paragraph or a brochure or this or that. And then now I have to think about, well, what is it that I want to do? And then, you feed it into Chat GPT or into your AI, whatever it is, and then now at least you get that, the ball rolling pretty fast and
Yeah.
and what have you. So no question about it. It definitely speeds up the creative time. So what do you
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that?
it's like a spark, really.
Yeah,
And in marketing, that's so important, really, because a lot of times you need that to just to get things moving. As you said, get that wheel turning, get some imagination flowing, and it's fantastic for that. Really, a thought partner for getting started.
yeah, absolutely. So what do you see then? So now if marketing the creative process is now faster, what's going to happen with all of that extra time that becomes available? How are marketers
Mm,
going to keep their jobs, so to speak, with now all
yeah.
of this extra time available?
I think that AI is just another tool in the marketer's toolbox, and it's probably the most powerful tool for marketers that we've seen maybe in a generation. But I do not think it's going to replace marketers. I think it's going to empower marketers to do even better, to spend more time on thinking strategically and designing campaigns. So I think if it can help them be 5 to 10 times more productive, and if as a marketing agency, if my team becomes that much more productive and we are benefiting and profitability is also reflected in that too. Well, I'm going to still continue to hire more people who can use AI in that way. And I think the same is true for other industries as well, like developers. If you make someone times more productive, then they're that much more valuable to your organization. So I think this is much more of an empowering platform than it is a threat for marketers.
Yeah, I think you're right. Although I think that when you say, well, it makes us think more strategically. How does that impact though the marketers just coming into the role, just coming out of college or their first time in marketing, when they really don't have the wherewithal, not that they're not smart, but they don't have the experience to be able to, think in a very strategic way. How do you think this might affect them?
It's an interesting question. I do think it can help them to develop the strategic acumen faster because even just having a strategic conversation or using AI as a thought partner and asking what you don't know, I think it can be a great
Hmm.
educational tool to help bridge that gap from the marketers right out of university who are very green without much experience to the point where they're building their confidence. They're able to speak up in strategic conversations with clients. So I think actually it can accelerate it can accelerate them into that phase of their career faster.
Yeah, so maybe the prompts then are tell me all the strategic questions I need to know
Yeah.
in this
I think we're
business.
even there with AI, which is tell me what I should ask you. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a brand new marketer and I'm in this situation. Maybe I don't feel completely confident about XYZ. Maybe this is the client, this is the particular problem. What should I be asking? How can you help me? And AI is great at that, I think, and it's getting better at interpreting the more esoteric questions like this that require more thought. I've been using lately the new model, the GPT's O1 model, where there's chain of thought reasoning,
Mm.
and man, it's impressive.
Hmm. Is that different than from the 4.0? So there's a new
Yeah.
one out, the chain. I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
it came after the one right after 4.0 is they went to now O1. I think it's a different family now they're starting because rather than provide an instant immediate answer, which is what everything has done so far, and that's mostly driven by a predictive model that's just trying to predict the
Hmm.
next word or even the next letter. This new family of models seems it takes more time. It can take several seconds or even some minutes to come up with an answer,
Hmm.
but it goes through a logical thought process and it shows you how it documents that. And it goes through a structured chain of thought reasoning process. So you can give it much tougher
Yeah.
questions like help me devise a strategy for transitioning a digital marketing agency into an AI consultancy. So you could throw that into 4.0 and you could get a quick immediate answer that's probably going to be serviceable, but throw that into O1 and you get a much more thought out answer that could say, all
Hmm.
right, you should take it in different stages, stage one, stage two, stage three. These are the risks. These are the potential bottlenecks. This is what it's going to depend on. Here's how you execute it. So it's just a whole nother level for
Interesting.
strategy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to check that one out. That sounds pretty
Yeah, you should
fascinating.
check it out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Give it your
absolutely.
toughest problems, really, the biggest ones that keep you up at night.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I will do that. I appreciate that. So AI is definitely a big part of marketing. So what do you see as some of the best practices now to incorporate AI into marketing and marketing workflows and marketing channels?
Mhm. The most common and popular use case in marketing that I've seen is really just to help to create content of all types and forms. So that's written content, everything from short form headlines to social media content, medium length blog posts, even longer form white papers, ebooks, and things like that. These are all just different text assets that marketers need to create on a day-to-day basis. We're now getting to the next phase of this, which is images and video. I think we're still not all the way there yet. And I would also include in that avatars, AI avatars, which we've done
Hmm.
some experimenting with. So that right there, the fast creation of assets, they may not be the final assets. I never would recommend just thinking of copy pasting, but just to get that initial high quality first draft right in front of you in a few seconds. It's been great. Other than that, on a strategic level, we're seeing some nice outputs when we try to do things like define an ideal customer profile, we might say, here's the client, here's their core offering. Generally speaking, they are offering the service to these people, but help me get a help me better define these people and maybe even segment them at a more granular level. So we can go from a high level persona to more of a micro persona. And then within that micro persona, we get the pain points, we get the mapping of the solution to the pain point, we get
Mm.
suggested headlines, suggested short form, and I can get all of that presented to me in a table in 1 or 2 minutes. Just starting with a very rough description of the persona and the company. So from a strategic standpoint, that provides really a foundation for all the marketing campaigns that could follow for months after. You could, with social media marketing, it's always great to have a really good segmentation of your personas, their pain
Mm.
points, and then you can map the creatives to those pain points. And that framework now is instant. And that used to be something that would take us literally a few weeks to produce. And we even used to charge clients for that entire strategy. But now we don't. We just give that away really right at the
Yeah.
beginning so we can hit the ground running much faster with the
Mm.
actual campaigns.
Well, and and to get those pain points and with certainly a large part, with some good rigor behind it, you'd have to run some surveys or whatever. And now you're like maybe, 90% of the way there. You may still have to run the surveys, but you've got such a fast starting point that that whole process now is condensed way down, and you look a whole lot smarter than you might otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
definitely makes with certain clients that haven't yet really dabbled with AI, when they see the outputs, the speed and quality of the outputs, they're blown over. And we always do admit, hey, we have to let you know now that we are using AI here to assist us. But still, it has come across as really impressive to a lot of our clients.
Well, and I think though, you're into digital marketing and search and SEO. And I think, your expertise that you've built up over the last 15 years, I think it was, or 20 years, you now know how to ask the right questions into a prompt that you can get the right answers that can really, hone your whole pitch and your whole strategy and the whole execution of that. And so for agencies, I think that that really raises the bar in terms of what you're able to deliver there.
Yeah, I would agree generally with that. And I think we're getting closer to a time where even if AI can detect the knowledge gap, they'll still be able to help you get to the right questions. I think already I even saw today something that I want to play around with in OpenAI's dev platform, which is it's also freely available to everyone. A prompt, it's a prompt assistance tool that helps you to articulate your prompt in a better way, so it can take something that's vague or it may have some gaps and help you fill in the gaps and
Hmm.
articulate the prompt that you can then just feed right back into Chat GPT to get your output. So I think still the core instincts of marketing need to be there. You still need to know basics like, well, who is my persona? Who am I selling to? And what problem do they have? How can we
Yeah,
solve
yeah,
it? And then
yeah.
um, if you get that part right, a lot of other details will fall into place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like your point too about, asking Chat GPT, or whether it's 4.0 or oh 01, is about what the pain points are, and that the whole understanding of the customer buying process and their behavior is such a big help when you're trying to put together a strategy for one of your clients.
Yeah.
So, well, now with all of this going on, so I'm sure you're seeing that there's some big changes coming in search. How do you see that
Mhm.
now? How do you see AI and some of these new technologies impacting, your core business?
Yeah, AI and search are on a collision course, and Google is trying to make those two things seamlessly merge into one experience with AI overviews. And I have to say, I think they're going to pull it off. Actually, they 1 or 2 days ago they announced a pretty big upgrade to AI overviews. Now they're going to be more prominently citing the sources and driving more traffic. So that is really kind of the new frontier for SEO right there. And they're also incorporating ads now into the AI overviews. So um, the search result page is now really the focal point is moving from away from the classic 10 blue links to the AI overviews area. But there's another camp that would argue that the AI experience, that the chat experience in many cases is superior to the search experience and will just replace it. And I find myself now turning to Chat GPT many more times a day than
Mm.
I would turn to Google. Although I consider myself an early adopter, so I don't think I'm representing a typical user. The question is, will Google be able to solve this before the AI chat experience starts to really take on with the masses? And I still am betting on Google getting this done, figuring it out, that the Google search box will start to morph into more of a just a conversation starter box. And you can get quick answers, you can get long answers,
Mm.
you can get any kind of multimodal experience. Now, interestingly, they have a Google Lens where you could just snap a picture of anything in the real world and
And it
immediately ask a
finds it.
question. Why is this? What is this thing that I
Yeah.
just, or how does this work?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's just going to be amazing. So it does appear that ChatGPT has the lead in a lot of areas right now, but Google, with its massive resources,
Yeah.
its massive distribution infrastructure, and just general resources and tens of billions of dollars that they're ready to put and invest in this, as opposed to OpenAI, which has to really make a big deal out of raising a few billion, really just to keep going. I wouldn't bet against Google,
Yeah.
but I'm digressing because when it comes to search marketing is going to change quite a lot. But I do think the fundamental principles will still be there. I don't think we're going to still be doing keyword research and trying to predict which keywords people are typing into a search bar anymore, though. I think that's, maybe 2, 3 more years, and that's going to start to go away. It's going to be about really making it very clear who is your audience,
Mm.
what are your goals, what are you willing to pay to make a sale or to acquire a lead, and then you really have to give those clear goals with great creative to these platforms, whether they be ad platforms or even organically, and let them take it from there. Really, let them help you. It's only going to be as good as the output will only be as good as the quality of the inputs
Mm.
that you provide in terms of data and creative.
Well, that the Google, AI overviews, as you mentioned, I know for myself, those have been, those have removed the need for clicking through a bunch of different links that you might otherwise do. And so has Google started to see a decline in revenue because of that? Because they're basically getting paid, based on those sponsored links. Has
Mhm.
there has that led to a decline, or are they still holding their own with bringing in revenue off of those sponsored links?
Oh, their revenue is still doing just fine. I don't know what the last quarter's growth rate was, but I still believe they're doing north of 15% year-on-year growth each quarter on
Yeah,
revenue. Now that's coming from a little more diversified sources. That Google Cloud is now pulling its weight in a big way.
yeah,
Several
yeah.
billion-dollar company in its own right. YouTube revenue has really started contributing, but still the majority of Google's revenue comes from search ads. And I think if they are able to extend Google Ads into AI overviews, and I think they initially have taken the first steps already to do that, they'll still be able to protect this ad empire that they've built, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
they'll still keep growing revenues as
yeah,
long as they don't get broken up.
yeah. I
Even if
know
they do get
that's
broken up, maybe that'll still happen.
yeah, exactly. That is a that will be interesting. And the funny part about that, and well, let me not go into that. There's all kinds of different
Yeah,
things.
that's a whole nother can of
Yeah,
worms,
that's
I
a whole
suppose.
nother can of worms, that's for sure. So, talk about third-party cookies and first-party data and what's going to happen there. I mean, there's been
Hmm.
stop and start and start and stop, and then now I think
Yeah,
we're kind of in pause mode. So, what's going on?
it's been baffling, really, Guy, because we had been prepping our clients and in the industry at large, and I had been talking about this for so long that third-party cookies are going to sunset, and this will have a pretty major disruptive effect on advertisers and the return on advertising, because the ability to track people through third-party cookies was just so good at understanding exactly what you were researching and what you needed. And when that goes away, there's going to be this massive data gap, and that gap needs to be filled by the advertiser's first party data. First party data are things like your list of customers or leads, audience data from your CRM, your marketing automation platforms. Uh, I still now Google really surprised the industry by about a month or so ago, really just rescinding on that offer and saying, "Hey, I know we've been announcing this is coming for years. We've been kicking the can down the road, but now it seems like we don't really have to do this right now, and it really is probably going to cost us too much money. So we're just not going to do it. At least not right now. We have other vague privacy solutions. So everybody just chill out and keep, business as usual." And so I guess it is good for advertisers because I really believe a lot of the return on ad spend does rely on third party cookie tracking in Chrome. We're talking about just the Chrome browser here. Still, that's by far the biggest one. Now that said, I would not say this eliminates the advantages of using your first party data. I still believe very strongly that incorporating first party data is only going to help your campaigns perform even better. So we work a lot with lead gen companies, and one of the most obvious ways, the best ways to use first party data is to take your sales pipeline revenue data, whether maybe you're using HubSpot or Salesforce, and take that sales pipeline. If you're doing a good job of mapping how a lead progresses through that sales funnel, they might go from an opportunity to a negotiation stage and then a closed one. But if the salespeople are assigning probabilities and deal values, and you can quantify each stage of that pipeline, well, send that revenue data back to Google, and then you can bid on what's called value-based bidding. An example would be target return on ad spend. And then you can say, well, now I just want to achieve a 300% return on ad spend. So, and this is my sales pipeline data. And then when Google optimizes for a particular ROAS goal, that's an entirely different
Mm,
type of outcome than if Google is simply bidding on target cost per lead, or target CPA, as they call it, where you're essentially just telling Google, here's my budget. You'll get me as many leads as you can within this budget. But who knows what's going to happen to those leads once they get into the CRM. And when Google is chasing a quantity goal, like based on target CPA bidding, it's essentially just trying to get you the most leads possible. But if you really want to align the interests and incentives of marketing and sales, you take your first party data, that sales pipeline data from the CRM, and you let Google optimize against that real revenue, that sales pipeline. And then, marketing and sales are really then walking in lockstep. And that's
mm.
what we're trying to encourage a lot of our B2B lead gen clients to do, is use that first party data. It's gold.
Yeah, 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 absolutely, and makes a lot of sense. I could talk to you for another couple of hours. It's all kinds of really fascinating and valuable stuff, and certainly marketing is on the cusp of a new revolution and what have you. But I do have one last question for you, and that is, what advice would you give an up and coming new marketer? So we talked a little bit about a marketer just coming out
Mm.
of school, but what advice would you give them so that they can be successful once they get into the workplace?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is dive headfirst into AI, because the best marketers in the next generation are going to be the ones who know how to use AI to get the best results. And it's really leveled the playing field, because somebody like me, who's getting a bit gray in the beard and more of a veteran in this space, I could get quickly passed by a young person who's great at just using AI and working at light speed. So I think that would be my number one piece of advice is, I guess, one other thing I'll add to that is there's a mindset as well that I'd really recommend, and that is curiosity. Uh, None of us in marketing ever really have the answer. And once we grasp the answer, then the whole thing changes anyway. And that's what makes it so fun and interesting. So that mindset of always being curious and never really being satisfied enough with either whatever tools you're using or whatever results you might be getting. Don't be satisfied. Stay curious and really embrace AI, because that's going to be the ticket to the future marketing success.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this stay curious is so critical, and be always on the learning side of the equation, because with AI, I mean, the stuff is just coming at you so fast, and you have to be better than the next guy, and the next guy is doing the same thing, as trying to learn as fast as they can, and so that they can get to be able to make those or ask those strategic questions and hopefully answer them. Uh, Paris, thank you so much. I'm so glad we were able to get together today and talk a little bit about marketing and AI and search and what we see coming up. Where can people find you?
Well, thank you, Guy. The best way to find me would be on LinkedIn, Paris Childress, Hop Online. Our website is also hop.online, so you can see a bit of our work there.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. Fortunately, I've got a name that makes me easy to find. I didn't really love this name as a kid growing up, but I think just putting my first name Paris into LinkedIn, most likely I'll be among the first results that pop up.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, that's perfect. I appreciate that. And so hop.online is the company URL, and then Paris Childress on LinkedIn, and you're right. I think when I put in Paris, it came right up. So that's always an
Yeah, I
advantage.
guess my parents probably didn't even know it at the time, but they did a good keyword research.
They were very, yeah,
And they
that's right. They were very
decided to name me.
prescient.
They made me very search friendly.
Yeah, exactly. So fantastic. Well, Paris, thank you so much. And for the audience, please stay tuned for many other videos in this series of the backstory on marketing and AI. And if you'd like, there's a free excerpt that you can download at marketingmachine.prorelevant.com of my latest book. And then stay tuned, of course. I've got a new book coming, and I think you'll also appreciate it. And of course, if you liked this podcast, please rate it with 5 stars. Paris, thank you so much. It's been great chatting with you today.
Thank you too, Guy. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.